All right, you guys. So today's exercise, I want to talk about the differences between a conventional reconnaissance and a mountaintop reconnaissance. So on a reconnaissance, we've talked about this many times before. We've got all our S's in the WWP, so it's suitability, size, shape, slope, surface, surrounding, snag, sunshade, wind, wires, power.
Sit out the fast 5
Yeah, lots of stuff to think about and look at. We're going to orbit this peak right here. Why don't you start looking at it while I talk here?
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, lots of things to think about and talk about. When you get to a mountain landing...
So I'm going to say no.
Ooh, I'm going to say no too. That looked so good from a distance.
Yeah,
Let's go over here. This looks really fantastic over here. Let's do an orbit around that. There's a few of those that really rise to the top as extremely important. So they're all still important, but the reconnaissance completely changes from a conventional, maybe a valley bottom with trees and stuff like that, to a mountain top, and the way that you actually physically do that reconnaissance. So let's get right into it. Alright, so when you're doing a conventional reconnaissance, you're wanting to be about 2 to 3 times treetop height and do your checks. Now, here on this spot, that's absolutely useless to do something like that. So we're way too high right now. Let's go ahead and drop down. Now, the reason it's useless is because when you're landing on a snow top mountain like this, the surface and the slope are the biggest factors. So first of all, the surface, what kind of surface is it? Well, it's snow. Is it hard packed or soft? Well, hard to say 100%. It's looking fairly wind-blown, which tells me that there's a half-decent chance that it is hard, like the overall pack of it's hard. But there's maybe a chance that there's a little bit of fresh stuff on top, so we'll see how that goes. Now, we're still a bit too low, and
Too low or too high?
Too high.
Okay.
We want to get to an eye-level pass, all right? So instead of the conventional circle, circle, circle until we figure it out, we're going to slow down a little bit, and we're going to start doing some passes from 3 or 4 different directions until we figure out what that wind's doing. So let's turn back at our spot now. Now we've got GPS, which really helps us, 40, 49. If you don't have GPS, we've got lots of other wind finding procedures. We'll talk about that in a different video. But it looked like we had a tailwind there. So let's slow it way down now. And we're going to do an eye-level pass of this spot right beside it. So get nice and close. And we're still a little fast. And the two things that rise to the top is slope. So we're trying to figure out where the top of the spot is, where the least amount of slope is. Okay, we figured that out now,
Yeah,
I think, right? And then what our power situation is like. Now, that one we slowed down quite a bit. We were only using about 70%, and it felt very stable. Let's loop around. We're going to do an approach from this side now. And I want to see from this side... Okay, don't get too high. We're coming a bit high now. And I want to come off to the right-hand side of it so that we can get nice and close again. So the reason we want to be so close is we want to get a good feel of what the winds are doing up here. Wind is a massive factor when you're mountain flying because every peak can be completely different. So we want to get down nice and low, and we want to get a really good sense of what that wind is doing specifically in this spot, okay? So I think we have a bit of a tailwind right now. Check this out. We're using 96% power. What a difference. There's 100%.
Yeah.
You see the difference? We're just flying by, eye level. There's no way we could do it coming from this direction. So we're going to come by one more time the other way. And what we're going to do is we're going to get down to an out-of-ground effect hover. All right? So let's loop around to the left. We're all clear on the left-hand side here. Alright, that's looking really good. So we can already start slowing her down. We're going to get back to that same eye level, nice and close to our spot. Now it's really critical that we always have an out. So if we need to have an out, we can still fly away. So if we start over-pitching or running out of power, even before we over-pitch, we can start bailing out. In this case, we're going to bail out to the left because that's going to be our safe zone there. And we want to see if we can do an out-of-ground effect hover here and what this wind is doing and what our power situation's like. Now, knowing that out-of-ground effect, we need more power to hover than in-ground effect, but look at this. There's 98, there's 100, and we're just able to hold it, but now we're drooping, so lower the collective forward cyclic. We have to bail away, bail away. There you go. Beautiful. Alright, we were able to hold a hover. Let's bring the nose up again. We were able to hold a hover for just a couple seconds there, but it was long enough that I'm pretty confident we can, well, I'm totally confident that we can get back in there and we can land it, because once we're in ground effect, we're going to be able to have a lot more lift, alright? So let's go back in there. and let's actually shoot this approach. Now again, we're right on the power limitation. We're at 6,200 feet, 70 liters of fuel, so we're fairly loaded up at the moment here. And we're going to come by this spot and shoot our final approach here now. So key difference is we weren't thinking about this many things like snags. Sun and shade were definitely a factor. There's sun today, but it's not casting any shadows, and it's nice and bright on the surface, so we were able to see what the surface is like. Slope is a huge one. When you're on snow, you can come at a spot from 3 or 4 different angles, and it can look completely different on all those different angles. So we're going to come around now. Now I want you to shoot that constant angle approach. Slow down. Yeah, there you go. Constant angle approach from about 50 feet high. From back here, about 50 feet high. That's looking good. And we're a little high. Get down a little lower. Don't want to be too steep. If we come in too steep, then we're going to require too much power at the end. We're still too high. Keep coming down. And we don't want to stop until we get into a hover over top of our spot, because otherwise we'll overpitch. So trying to find the very top. I think you got to come a little more to the left. Got a little slope there. There you go. Don't go any further forward. That's it. Let's hold it there. So there's our 100%. This is awesome for you guys to see. We had a slight droop in the power because we had a bit of a steep approach, but now check this out. Power's coming back, and there we are. We're just landing the helicopter, and that's smooth.
Nice.
And awesome. Nice work, man.
That was fun.
That was really good. We don't have the bear paws on, so we're not going to lower the collective all the way. If we had the bear paws, I'd feel super confident we could get the collective down all the way on that. But that was super, super sick. I hope you guys didn't like this video. Those are just a couple of the differences between a mountaintop reconnaissance versus a conventional reconnaissance. Give this video a thumbs up. We'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. Okay, so this is an awesome reference right here of what we were talking about slope. The last one is much, much easier to tell slope. So the job I've given Colton here is we've got a bit of a ridge here. Nice big open flat spot. Now luckily we've got enough sunshine that we have reference here. We don't have any whiteout situation going on. But I've told him, I want you to land at the very top of this ridge, and I want to see if you nail the slope properly, because we've done a couple passes here now. This is the final test after our training.
This is an impossible task, by the way.
Alright, so how's she looking there, Colton?
It's looking flat everywhere.
It's looking flat everywhere. Well, that makes your job easy then, doesn't it?
Just land anywhere.
Yeah, okay, so we did an overflight here. You're still trying to find it, or are we still landing on this one? Is this a dummy run?
I'm gonna land.
You're gonna land? Okay.
Yeah. Flattest areas up here.
Okay. So Colton's gonna land on what he thinks is the flattest spot. Now we just did an outer ground effect hover with like 78%. Okay, so we're coming in for landing here. How's she looking, Colton?
A little bit of slope to the left, I'd say, probably,
slope
but I think
to the left.
we'll get that anywhere.
Alright. So you figure you're pretty near the top. Okay, we're just pulling into a hover here. A little more wind at this point now, or a little less wind, I guess, because we've got about 98%. Getting into a nice little hover here. And alright, we're touching her down. Now we're not going to be able to lower the collective all the way again, but we got her down. How do you think you did before you look backwards? Because looking backwards is going to be the telltale of how the slope was. Do you think you nailed the top pretty close? Don't look back.
I might be a little overshot.
A little overshot, okay. Alright, let's have a look, guys. What do you think? Did he overshoot? I'd say... Alright, I'm going to take control here.
Okay.
Yeah, I have control.
Got it.
Yeah, you go ahead and look. How'd you do?
Well, I guess it's way back there.
So we overshot it.
By like 200 yards.
By like, yeah, at least 200 yards, and also probably about 200 feet, believe it or not. We are, you know what, let's do a test on this. So we are 6,460 feet right now. We're going to go back to the actual top, and we'll see what the altitude is when we get up there. So 6,460. Okay, guys, so I might have overshot a little bit with my guesstimate of 200 feet off. But now we're at 6,500 feet, so it was actually 40 feet lower. That's where we were, kind of off in the distance down that way. And now you can see out the right window, it's pretty much flat that way. So we're pretty much at the top now. It does slope up this way and then down off that way there. But anyways, I'm going to end the video here. Just wanted to show you guys that because it's so difficult up here to be able to tell that slope, and that's the reason why doing those super shallow approaches, only coming in about 50 feet high from your spot and then shooting that shallow approach, it allows you to find the top of your spot. Very critical in spots like this. Awesome work, Colton. Until next time, give this video a thumbs up. Talk to you guys later.